Greetings to all. I am Dr. Arivalagan, Professor, Department of AMET Business School. See, basically any language programming is a fundamental for doing computer programming. The basic concepts are essential, it is mandatory, and it is also common for all languages, whether it may be a C or BASIC or COBOL or any new programs like OOPS program, that is object oriented programming. Also the concepts are same. Generally the concepts of pointers is very difficult for most of them. The reason is that it is mandatory and also it is a dynamic allocation of memory. In any programming there are different kinds of variables are there. Let us see about the C programming. The C programming is one of the primary language of computer language programmings. The reason for that is this fundamental language is based for your Unix operating system. Number one is the C programming has its own capacity of accessing dynamic allocation of memory, which is essential to access the memory of computer to put the operating system in proper places to access all kind of resources of the computer like data or hardware part or to control the entire operating system, etc. Anything is possible in the C language. That is why we call the fundamental language is a C language. In earlier days we used to have a basic language. So, it is meant for beginners where you can learn about the loops, if statement, conditional statements, and apart from that you can learn the filing system. Here after that the main concept of function that is incorporated in the C language, which is essential or base for the C language. Before getting into the pointer concept, just I will roughly go through the basic concept of your C programming. C programming is called as a structured programming. Why it is called as a structured programming is that, see, whenever you have any kind of life, you have to have a proper structure. Like even if you compare with the human growth, initially we have a childhood days, then we have a study days, and after that you have a normal life, then you have a family entered, then after that you will be ending with the senior citizens. So, like that in C also you have a structure. Number one is called the header. The header file is nothing but the file which are inbuilt in the C language, which essentially gives all kinds of function, which is a preprocessor function which will be used in the C language. The next one is you are called as a main function. The main function is nothing but the head or the function which is essential to run your program. It may be a main or it may be any void functions you can call it, but it is a functional oriented language. Because of that, without any function you cannot run the C programming. The next one is a variable declaration. In the variable declaration we all know about, for all common languages you have the integer, it is a, then you have a float, then after that you have a character, then you have a string. So, like the different kinds of variables you have, this fundamental variables has to be declared at the top of the program next to your main function. Then you have a body of your program. The body of the program is nothing but the processing of your language. So, whatever you want to process, whatever you want to execute, that particular lines should be in the body of your language. Then you have a return variable. For any function, the functional name is essential. Suppose for example, if you want to write a function for adding two numbers, then the main function you have to have like a function name as add. So, when you call a function, obviously it returns a value. Without returning value, a function is called as a void function. If it returns more than one value, then it is called as a procedure. So, all these concepts are fundamental for any C language. So, if you look at the basic structure of the C programming, the essential is the first one is the document section. The document section is nothing but talking about what the program does. It is essential for any programmer to write the document section. Without that, you cannot identify what kind of program it is. Because if it is a few line program like 10 lines or 15 lines, you can identify with the result or something what kind of program it is. But if you have multiple functions and as well as a long program like 400 lines or 500 lines, then it is very difficult to identify what kind of program it is. So, the document section you have to write what the program is going to do, what is the purpose of it, and who is the author and what is the version. So, all those things should get into the document section. Then comes your definition section. Here you can define the variables what you want in the C programming. Hope you all know about what are the things you have to write in the definition section. Then you have your main function. So, the main function which we have already seen in a program where you can call it as a functional head which will return a particular value, or it may not return a value also, that is what we call it as a void function. Then we go for a preprocessor or a link section. The preprocessor that itself states that what are the functions you need, or what are the variables you need, what are the essential header files you need, that is what we call as a preprocessor. Before processing your program, what are the things essential to incorporate in your program, that is what we call as a preprocessor section. Then you have a global declaration. Hope we know that what is a global and what is a local variable. The global variable, once you declare it, then these variables will carry forward into the any function within the function or outside your program, etc. That is what we call it as a global variable. The local variable is nothing but the variable which will work only within that function. If you go out of the function, the value of the local variable will vary. That is why the main difference of local and global variable, the global variable should always declare outside of your main function. Then you have a user defined function section. The user defined function is nothing but the function which is not available in the header file, but you want to utilize your this function in your program for certain purpose which you return on your own. That is what we call as a user defined function. Then it comes to your main function declaration section. So, in the main function declaration section, you have to start your program. Let us look an example. The first one is the document section, where the name of the program, as I told you, you have to write the name of that particular program. Then you have to say who is the author, what is the version of it, what is the purpose of it, and everything you have to explain, which will identify the entire program's author name and writing authorities, and as well as the modification authorities, etc. Everyone should know what is the purpose, why it has been written, who written, on what date, what is the version of it, any modification has been done. All those things should comes under your documentation section, which will help all the programmers who are following this particular program or incorporate this particular function in their programming for some purpose will understand the need of the program. The next one is, we call it as a preprocessor directives. The preprocessor directives is nothing but your header files. The header files are nothing but the preprocessor file which are already stored in the C language. Let us say stdio.h, it is nothing but standard input output dot header file. So, this standard input and output dot header file which will give how you have to input your variable or how you have to print the variable, and the basic function like whatever the inputs and outputs. This is not only here, even in C++, the OOPS language, that is object oriented programming language, also you can incorporate that. And then CON.io, that is console input output dot h. The console input output dot h will give through which device you are inputting your variable value and how you are displaying your value. That is what we call as a CON.io.h header file which will carry those function. Then you have the definition section. In the definition section, you see here you have defined max 100, that is you are defining the max as a variable equal to 100. So, whenever you try to print the max, it is nothing but 100. So, this maximum value I am fixing as 100. This is what the user defined function. Then you have a global declaration section. The global declaration section, you have the two variables, one is a function, another one is a variable. The first one is add function. So, this add function, whenever you have add followed by open bracket and close bracket without any variable, then that means you are not passing any value into that. So, this function is globally accessed by the entire program. Then you have int x equal to 100, this entire value in the program, if you want to use x as a variable within your program, then the value has been already defined as 100. If you want to modify, even you can modify, still the whatever the modified value will be acknowledged with that x value. Otherwise, this value can be changed within your program or any function. That is why we call it as a global declaration. Then you call it as a main function. So, this is a main part of your actual program. Here, whenever you say main, it may return a value, it may be returning integer value or float value. Then the int means it returns a integer value. If you say float, then main function it returning the float, and if it is not going to return any value, then you have to say void. Void means non-returnable function, that is what we call it as a void. So, in general, whenever you write any simple programs, you can always say void main, but if you want to return some value, you can put that particular value type and then you can start your function. Here the example here in the main function, it has been initialized with int, that means this particular function or C program returns an integer value. Then within that you have a variable declaration. So, once this variable declaration has been given here, int a equal to 0, this variable is a local variable, because the reason is that this a will execute only within the main function. You cannot go out of this particular function, and if you ask the value of a, it will give you some junk value. So, whenever you declare any variable within a function, that variable will be utilized only within the function, it is valid only for that particular function. Then you have a printf hello main. So, whenever you want to print any statement, you have to use the printf. Printf is nothing but the print file. So, here printf hello main, this will give you the main function. Then you have returned 0. Why? Because you are initialized your function with int value, that is why you are returning the 0. Then you have a add function which has been declared as a global. So, within add, again you have the printf allow add, this is a functional definition. Within that you are printing the value allow add. See, as I told you that whether you are getting a value or printing a value or anything, everything will be functional program in C language. That is why we call it as a functional language. The C programming itself is a functional language. Everything, whether you are going to input or doing any output, after processing, if you want to return any value, all those things will comes under the function. Now, let us get into the section called pointer. I am not going to talk about any loops or any if function, conditional, all those things, because the reason is that you already learnt about it, because I want to concentrate only on the concept of pointers, because this is a main function of or essential function or essential advantage of any language. See, basically the pointer is a variable that holds the memory address. That means, see, if you say integer a equal to 100, that means the value of a equal to 100, but here the pointer variable, if you say pointer a, then that means it carries the address of a memory, not the value. The address is the location of another object in the memory. You know that the object, either it may be a structure or it may be a variable value or it may be a character string, anything. So, that is those object will be within that particular memory address. So, the pointer will locate the address of another object in the memory. So, the pointer has an address indicate where it finds an object. Generally, not all pointers are actually contain the address. Example, the null pointer. The pointer which is having a null, that is end of your pointer variable, or the value of null pointer is equal to 0. Let us see how the pointer works with the definition. Look at the definition of pointer. A pointer in C is used to allocate the memory dynamically. What do you mean by dynamic? Everyone says that the memory allocation will be in the continuous phased manner. That is, suppose for example, the memories are available in continuously 1001, 1002, 1003 etc., then the memory allocation will be in sequence manner. But whenever you want, when you run a program dynamically, wherever the space is available, you can utilize it. That is what we call as a dynamic memory allocation, not the pre-processing. If you declare an array, before starting your program itself, the array memory location will be allocated, then only the process starts. But in pointer, after starting the process, the memory will be allocated dynamically without any interference of your program. So, at runtime, a pointer variable might be belonging to any kind of data, that is a basic data like integer, float, character, string, any possible. So, all those things, double, short etc., also you can declare the pointer according to the need. For example, integer you need only 2 bytes. If you go for a character, it is 1 byte. So, like that, based upon your basic data type, the memory allocation will happen, but this will happen dynamically using a pointer. So, if you look at the definition, data type and star variable name. So, the data type is integer, float, the basic data types whatever you already seen in the C programming, and the variable name also you know that it may be x, y, z, whatever it is. But what is a star? The star indicates the variable name is a pointer variable. Without indicating the star, it is a normal variable. If you indicate the pointer, then before the variable name, then it is called as a pointer variable. The null pointer we have already seen. The word null is a constant in C language and its value is 0. In case the pointer, if any pointer does not contain a valid memory address, then the pointer is unutilized. That means, you may be declared as a variable as a pointer, unless you are not allocating any object into it, then the address will have the value as a null. That is what we call it as a null pointer. So, generally this null pointer will come at the end of the sequence of your pointers. Suppose for example, I am in my program, I am start utilizing the null pointer to store certain continuous values. So, I am going to keep on entering the name of a students in a class where I do not know how many students are there. So, once I keep entering the value, after the certain time I stop, okay, I am going to end my program, there is no students are available, then that pointer will be stored as a null value, that is end of that particular sequence. That is what we call it as a main advantage of your pointer, where you can utilize the maximum size of your memory. In this slide, we can see that you have a variable called IP. So, the IP is a variable in that it is declared as int, and before IP you have a star. That means, the IP is a pointer variable which will carry address of your memory location, and then you are declaring the value I equal to 5. That means, you are assigning value to a variable I as 5. So, whenever you try to print the value of I, it will print as 5. Then we say IP equal to ampersand of I. What is the ampersand of I? The ampersand symbol indicates that this ampersand symbol indicates that the address of that particular variable, the address of the variable I. So, you are assigning the address of the variable I to star IP, then after that you are printing the value of pointer, then it becomes 5. So, you are assigning a value to a pointer. So, the address of that variable has been assigned to a pointer variable, so that the pointer carries the value of that particular variable. So, what are the different kinds of operation or the processing operation in the pointer? Number 1 is creation, how to create a pointer. Number 2, tracing all element, that is what we call as a reading operation. Then if you want to insert an element, is called as a insertion. Then if you want to delete an element in the pointer, then it is a deletion. All of you know what is the syntax for the pointer deletion, insertion, etc., but I want to explain the basic concept behind how the operation has been happened, because most of us are not familiar with how the operations has been takes place in the background. Unless you understand that concept, you cannot get into the deep programming. Look at a sample program. Here the normal integer value int va or equal to 10. We are assigning the value 10 to a normal variable. See, look at the front slash I have entered and then I have written a normal integer variable. This is a comment statement. See, whenever you write a program in any language, try to give a comment statement so that any programmer who reads, the programmer has to understand why it has been declared, what is the purpose of it, and then the significance of each statement. The next one is we are declaring a pointer variable, that is int star pointer equal to ampersand var. That means we are assigning the address of the variable var to a star pointer, that is we are assigning the address of the location of value 10. Print the value where you have the value of variable equal to 10. Then out of this line may be different in different runs every machine. For example, print address of variable, then you have just ptr, not star ptr, then it will give you the address of that location where the value 10 has been stored. Then you have star pointer equal to 20, that is you are assigning the address of the memory location 20 over there, not the value, remember that. So, if you say after doing star ptr equal to 20, what is the ptr value, then it gives that the ptr equal to 20, the star ptr, the address of that pointer value is 20. So, we are not, if at all you want to give a value, then how you have to do with, you have to assign the value to the star pointer, then you print the value, then it will give you the value of the variable, and without that if you give, then it will give you the pointer, that is the address of that particular pointer. Now, look at the pointer. This pointer will have three parts. The center one is data and the two other corners or look at the address. The first corner, that is look at your right hand side, it is called an address, and left hand side is also address. The left hand side, from your view, it says that the address of the previous location where it continues. The next address is nothing but where the next pointer will be located, that is the next address we call it. So, one is a previous address, the next one is a next address, the center part is called as a data. Look at the example where you have the string value of 6, you have an hello. So, it is an array variable where the location it starts from 0 to 5. So, it has a 6 character HELLO. So, here the first one, the 0 location, the index, if you look at the variable str of 0, then it will give you H, str of 1 it says A, str of 2 it will give you L, str of 3 again it gives L, str of 4 if you say it gives O, the last one the str of 5 is /0, it is nothing but the null character, that is the string ends over there, that is what it indicates. If you look at the address 1000, 1001, it continues till 1005. That is why I told you, if you declare an array, the address will be allocated well in advance before storing the value, but in if you use the pointer within the program during the process also you can allocate the address of that particular memory where you can store the value. This is the concept of reading. Look at the first one as the value address of 1000 and you have the value 10 in that. Whenever you say new, that means the pointer variable starts from there, and then you have the address called 1001. So, that is the next address of the value is 1001. So, automatically the program searches for 1001, that is a memory address, and then it goes over there and read the value, it is nothing but 55. Then after that it checks the next address where it shows 1002, then immediately it jumps to the memory location 1002 and then read the value as 40, and then it jumps to the memory address 1003 where it reads the 100. If you look at the next address, it is called null, that means the particular variable ends over there or that particular pointer ends over there. That is what the null indicates. If I want to reverse reading from last element to first element, then obviously I can go for the previous value, that is 1002. Immediately the program jump to the memory location 1002 and reads the value 40, and then look at the previous address, it is 1001, it goes to 1001 and reads the value 55, then it goes to the previous, it is 1000, then goes over there and reads the value 10. So, like that whenever you want to read any pointer behind the screen, this is how the pointer variables have been read in the memory. Next one is insertion. If I want to insert an element, what will happen in the memory behind the scene? If you look at the function, you may be write as an insert function for the C programming and straight away you are accessing it. But when you are accessing it, what will happen behind the screen? Let us look at here. I want to introduce an element called or the insert the value 200 in between the 55 and 40. In such a case, how the program has to be done? We already see 1000, 1001, 1002, 1003 etc. when we read an element in the previous screen or previous slide. But here if you want to insert it, first you identify the address 2000 and store the data value as 200. If I want to insert in between, then what I have to do is first I have to copy this address to the next address location. So, I am copying 1002 into the next address location and then go to the next element of the original function and take that value and put into the previous address. So, once I do that, then take the address of the memory location and put it in the previous and as well as put it in the next location of insertion of previous and the next location. Let me again say what it has to be done. First you want to introduce an element, identify the address of that particular element you want to insert. So, it is a 200 value, the address is 2000. Where you want to insert? In between 55 and 40. So, in such a case, the next address of 55 should go to the next address of the value 200 and the previous address of the 40 goes to the previous address of 200, then copy this new element address 2000 into the next address of 55 and copy this one into the previous address of 40. Then what will happen? Read 1000, then the next location is 1001, the next location is 2000. So, I am coming down here and reading 200, then I will read what is the next location, it says 1002, then it will go over here and this is the location 40 I am reading and then go to the next location 1003 where I am reading the value 100, then it becomes null. Hope you understand how to insert an element into the pointer at the back screen. Like that you can insert any number of elements in between the values. You cannot do that in the array because the reason is the array is a predefined structure. So, if you have the 5 element, you cannot insert the 6th element over there, but in pointer the main advantage is you can insert any number of element in any number of location or in between any number of variables. That is the main advantage of your pointer. So, this is what I have explained in the previous slide 1001, and after inserting an element 2000 in between 55 and 40, this is how the structure will be. So, the 2002, the location of 55 has been copied to the previous one and then location of the next one has been copied to the end and 200 has been inserted. So, once you if you want to read, you can read from this one and goes back to 2002 and then it will go to 2002 location and then the previous location is 2000 and the next location 1003 and reads. This is the resultant of your insertion. The next one is deletion operation. Look at this, I want to delete the element 40. So, this has to be deleted. So, I have to do the sequence how I have to read it. So, let me explain 1010 you read, the next element is 1001, you go back over here, you read 55 and then go back over here, the 40 has to be deleted and 1003. So, what will happen? What to do now? So, the next location should be here, then this element will be deleted. So, what will happen? I have to copy the location of 1003 over here. Once I do that, then automatically this will be skipped. So, this will carry 1003. So, automatically once you start read 1003, then automatically it will goes over here. This is what we call as a deletion. 1003 has been copied to the next location of 1001, that is the next address of 1001 is 1003, it has to be copied over there. So, once it has been copied, then automatically it will come and directly come down here. Look at the resultant of this deletion in the next slide. So, look at the operation, you have a 1000 over here, then it will go to the 55 because the next address location is 1001 and read the value, the next location is 1003, straight away it goes to 1003 and reads the value 100, the next address is a null. So, the in between 1002 has been deleted. This is the final of your deletion operation. So far we have seen about the insertion and then deletion operation of the pointers. So, what is the advantage of the pointer? The pointer provides a direct access to the memory. Through if you want to assign a variable, you never know what is the address of it, of that particular variable, but if you utilize the pointer, then you can directly access to your memory. So that if I know the address, I can store securely, this is the point I want to put my password, this is the point, this is the memory address I want to store my keys. So, like that you can specifically put it over there and you can note it down secretly so that no one can access it. And the pointer provide a way to return more than one value to the function, and here it is nothing but a structure. Obviously, you know that the structure which contains many number of variables under one name, which can be used as a pointer so that you can return more than one value. This is a fundamental concept for your file operations. It reduces the storage space and complexity of the program, reduces the execution of time of the program, because if you have a variable, then every time you have to go to the reference and take the value and then go to the snapshot like that. But if you use the pointer, you need not go over there, just execute the program very fast. That is the main advantage. It provides an alternate way to access the address of the memory location, and then it is also used to pass information at the back and forth between the calling function and the called function. Hope you know what is calling function and called function. So, if you use the pointer, you can go back and forth. Suppose for example, how we read the element of the values in addresses, how we back and forth went to read the values, that is possible. That also allows to perform a dynamic memory allocation and deallocation. You can allocate the memory or deallocate the memory, that is possible through the pointer. It helps us to build a complex data structures like list, stack, queues, trees and graph. Hope you know what is the concept behind the list. List is nothing but reading the element, the stack is nothing but push and pop operation, then you have the queues. The queues is nothing but first come first serve basis, that is first in first out, that is what we call it as a queue. Then obviously you have a tree structure, which is a complex structure where you have left and right element and call for the algorithms. Then you have a graph. After that, your pointer allows the resize dynamically allocated the memory. For example, I want to keep allocating the memory for 1000 elements. I want to cut off 50 straight away. I can identify the address 50 using the pointer and I can deallocate it. That is also possible in the pointer. The address of the object can be extracted using pointer, you can identify it. That is, these are the main advantage of your pointer. Also, you have a few disadvantages, like unutilized pointers may cause a damage to your program or damage to your machine also, because it keep occupying but it never releases. And a dynamic allocation block needs to be freed explicitly. Explicit in the sense that once you occupy, you have to say a word explicitly to deallocate that one. That is, otherwise it will lead to memory leak. Memory leak is nothing but unwanted data will be in the memory which never been used, but it occupies space. The pointers are slower than normal variables. If pointers are updated with incorrect values, it might be lead to the memory corruption. What it means that if you are insert the value which is not relevant to it or some non-identified value or something in the memory, it will be stored, but at the same time it will confuse your program where it will give you corrupt your memory also. So, in conclusion, we have seen a complex structure of pointer or the complexity of pointer or how it has been run at the background. The pointers are the variable which you directly access the address of the memory, which is one of the main features of your C programming, and it allocates the memory and you can deallocate it, you can allocate dynamically the memory within the address, and in that the insertion deletion operation or the key for any pointer variable how you can access and utilize the memory. So, the sky is the limit, that is whatever the capacity of your hard disk or your memory is the topmost limit of your pointer variable, not like array. Array can, if you want to declare, it is a fixed one, but pointer is a dynamic where you can allocate the maximum available memory. So, this maximum available memory utilization is one of the essential concept for writing any kind of operating system. So, hope you understood the pointer concept, how it works behind your program. Thank you.